A while back on this channel, we highlighted the boss enemies who, despite all their posturing, were defeated with just a single attack.
Whoa! That was sick, dude! You rock so hard, Spidey!
Then you, the YouTube commenters, piled in with even more hilarious suggestions of bosses who went down in one hit, which presented us with two delicious opportunities. One, to play that clip you just saw of Mysterio getting his butt kicked one more time, and two, to round up even more bosses you barely had to breathe on before they fell down defeated. Here are your picks of the one-hit bosses who went down like punks. Beware spoilers for the following games.
If there's one thing video games have taught us, it's that it's hard to kill a dragon. Also, that you should be careful saving your game in the middle of a fight with one, in case you get caught in one of those death loops. See, Mum, these games are educational after all. So when you factor in that it's very hard to kill just about anything in the Dark Souls games, or do anything, or go anywhere, well then you'd think an actual showdown against a dragon would always be a world of hurt, beyond the regular levels of hurt the series inflicts on you simply for trying to play it. So sorry if we're skeptical, commenter Robert Sutton, about this comment you left that reads, "Ancient Wyvern from Dark Souls 3? You just fell on him. Game over." It's hard to imagine a Dark Souls 3 boss called the Ancient Wyvern going down like a one-hit no-good punk, especially when you see the Ancient Wyvern, because no-good punk isn't how we'd choose to describe it. We'd prefer to use descriptors like house-sized or pant-wettingly horrible. Nevertheless, the Wyvern's massive health bar can indeed be reduced by 100% in a single hit, but only for players who are courageous enough to attempt a strategy the Dark Souls community calls running the f*** away. As brave heroes Johnny and Aoife over at Eurogamer proved when they faced down the Wyvern, if you leg it away from the scaly menace, you'll eventually find your way to a ladder. Follow the path even further, avoiding being grilled to death in your own armour, and you'll find a platform just above the Wyvern's head, at which point, well...
Wow, that was great!
Per dragon.
Oh, damn. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
I mean, certainly not the Wyvern.
You dare bring light to my lair? You must die!
Imagine being a huge fan of the Zelda franchise. Now imagine hearing that Princess Zelda from the title will be a playable character for the first time ever in an exclusive game for a fancy new console. Now imagine starting up that game and seeing this.
Come on, let's go fight Ganon's evil legions. I'll show you how.
Stop imagining! Stop imagining! Yes, sadly Zelda the Wand of Gamelon for the Philips CDI was a terrible nightmare, both in how it played and in how its cutscenes looked like they were made by someone who ate all their Halloween candy in one go.
Isn't it lovely? Bring some fairy dust and I'll make it a magic cloak.
No, please, stop. But if you were worried about the final boss fight being added to your list of things from this game that you need to talk to your therapist about, commenter VJ Pierce puts those fears to rest. Where's Zelda the Faces of Evil or Zelda the Wand of Gamelon? You just need to throw either a book or a wand at Ganon and you win! Yes, both in Gamelon and its fellow Philips CDI game Zelda the Faces of Evil, the boss fight consists of nothing more than throwing the right object at the big bad. So not as horribly mentally scarring as we thought it might be.
The chains! No! You haven't seen the last of me!
Okay, I take that back. It's much worse.
Who wants to play video games?
BMO! What's on the menu, BMO?
Anyone familiar with Adventure Time should know to stop being surprised when something in that show, or its spin-off video games, is weird. I mean, this is what happens if you enter the infamous Konami code on the title screen of Adventure Time Hey Ice King Why'd You Steal Our Garbage for the Nintendo 3DS.
Secret screen. This is the secret screen. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, secret screen. Secret screen.
Folks, I think this might be some kind of secret screen. Commenter Gabriel Horn is only too happy to point us in the direction of a boss encounter in the very same game that really brings some of that same energy, when they suggest the cutest warrior from Adventure Time Hey Ice King Why'd You Steal Our Garbage? The cutest warrior is Blibblob, a minor character who appears briefly in episode 53 of the show, explodes without warning and is never heard from again, but is somehow promoted to boss fight status in the 3DS game. Head to Marauder Village and this tough customer will ask you to get his ball back, the aforementioned toy having been taken by what they describe as a really powerful jerk, and I mean this coming from a person with a terrifying and powerful looking robot claw hand. So dutifully you head up to find said powerful jerk and oh, it's Blibblob, I guess we're fighting them now? Let's see how this everyone else can see this game too, right?
Come back for another go, have you, Batman? Good luck.
Batman has a lot of big scary enemies built to take a lot of hits.
Crush every bone in your body.
But he also has enemies like Penguin who hope you get eaten by a shark before you get within punching distance. Yes, some classic Batman villains rely on their goons to do all the heavy lifting and will only face him if they're armed to the teeth and well defended. Penguin is a prime example here, holding Mr. Freeze's gun in his very own velvet-lined panopticon.
Finally grown a pair and come to fight.
But he's not impossible to get, as pointed out by commenter Yamaguchi, who very succinctly put, Penguin in Arkham City. Yes, despite Penguin being seemingly impossible to reach at first, Batman is able to get his hands on the right gadgetry. This means you can jam up that freeze gun to get up close and personal for a nice simple one-punch finisher.
What the hell is wrong with this thing? Stay back.
You'd think being beaten by Batman in a single hit would be enough to dissuade Penguin from ever antagonising Batman again, but instead Penguin drops you into another boss fight with someone who can actually take a punch or 50, Solomon Grundy.
Oh, don't look so sad. I've got a little surprise for you down there.
It's a tough fight, but despite him being roughly 4 times the size of our Bat-themed hero, and more importantly, a horrific undead monster, Grundy is not impossible to defeat.
What have you done, you little...
But despite this reminder of Batman's immense punching power, loser Penguin decides to kick off yet another fight. Penguin, don't you remember what happened last time? Or was that punch a little too hard?
Just you and me left. The Bat versus the Bird.
He might seem cocky as he fires off his rocket-powered grenade launcher, but a quick scan of him reveals that he has a massively high heart rate as he is massively terrified. Maybe go easy on him this time, Batman? Wow. Well, to be fair, he has a no-kill rule. He doesn't have a no excessive jaw damage rule.
There was a time when we didn't know exactly how terrifyingly strong Kirby was. Back before the Super Smash Bros. Games made it canon that Kirby is the only Nintendo character powerful enough to evade the disintegration rays of the godlike Galeem, for instance, or that Kirby has the strength and speed to pass cleanly through a metal airship. They were simpler, happier times. Flashback to the year 2000, however, before Kirby became the world killer, and we didn't know how this little pink bubble ball would fare against the legions of baddies in Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. Commenter Board Victini knows there's one particular boss battle that players never needed to have feared, however. Adeleine from Kirby 64. You don't even need an ability to finish her off. Just sliding into her or breathing on her is enough to put her down. Adeleine might not seem like the most fearsome foe, being as she is a little girl who loves painting. Things do get a bit more sinister, however, when this pint-sized Picasso is possessed by the sinister entity Dark Matter. Yikes. Which means it's time for a boss battle, although at first the only threat comes from the doodles that Adeleine brings to life with her talented painting. Doodles of enemies, for instance. Or a spider. Or, well, I guess we don't know what that's a drawing of. Probably not something you want to inhale, though, Kirby. Adeleine soon escalates things by conjuring up even bigger baddies, each of which has their own health bar along the bottom of the screen and will require more nimble manoeuvring to defeat. Which leads to Adeleine finally getting bored of this artistic charade and entering the fray herself. And wouldn't you know it, like any respectable boss, she's got her own health bar. Or at least she does for about 2 seconds, because any amount of damage, including from Kirby breathing on her, is enough to knock her for 6. Which would have been a pretty surprising ending to this boss encounter back in the day. Not now, of course, not with what we know. Going up against Kirby, Adeleine is damn lucky to be alive.
Mario and Bowser have had many fights over the years in their great battle for the heart of Princess Peach, culminating with Mario beating up Bowser in Super Mario Odyssey with Bowser's own wedding attire. Video games are really weird. But their fights were not always like this. In fact, the traditional 3 hits and they're out style of boss battle was completely missing from the first game, as noted by commenter Alex Finch, who said, "Bowser, the original one-hit wonder. You didn't even need to touch him, just drop him in lava." Indeed, Alex hits the nail on the head, or more accurately, the axe at the end of the bridge. See, once you finally reach Bowser in his castle for the big fight, all you have to do is dodge his attacks, get behind him, and easily remove the bridge from right under his feet. Guess it was a load-bearing axe? That's right, the King of the Koopas burned in lava by just one simple maneuver from Mario. Bowser, more like Owser. No, wait, sorry, I'm having trouble applying sick burns after already dropping him into lava. Ayo! I apologise for nothing.
Doing the right thing is tough sometimes, like playing through Undertale and sparing every single one of your enemies, even the ones that seem like their worldviews are incompatible with yours, like Mettaton EX, a robot programmed for human eradication. Which, as a human, is not a philosophy I'm on board with. Yet this disco-dancing, leg-twirling glamourbot, or at least a version of this disco-dancing, leg-twirling glamourbot, earns a place on this list, as commenter Hannah Overholzer recalls. What about my boy Mettaton NEO? Mettaton EX is one of the trickiest encounters in the game's violence-free pacifist route, forging a permanent mental link between his disco theme music and intense feelings of stress. So it is with a sense of extreme trepidation that players in the so-called genocide route, where you kill everything, will have entered the battle against Mettaton NEO, because this Mettaton has more fearsome armour, a gun arm, and... Oh, yes, Mettaton NEO goes down in only one hit. Heartbreakingly, it seems this would-be murderbot was only playing for time, trying to stand in the way of your unstoppable kill rampage to shield the people it wants to protect. Of course, if you thought Mettaton NEO was a pushover, you should see the final boss of the game, who at this point doesn't even want to fight, being rightly terrified of you, the real monster. Yeesh. Never thought I'd say this, but I'd take the disco music over this any day.
So those are some of your suggestions for one-hit bosses who went out like a total punk. If you can think of any others, let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a little thumbs up. It's always appreciated. If you want to see any more stuff from us, we've got a bunch of cool live streams and more list videos like this. And hey, if you subscribe, you'll be told about all the new stuff that we upload. Isn't that useful? Yeah. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching. Bye!